The Deaf Frog, a story of resilience and success. Chapter 1. The Journey Begins. Once upon a time, in a lush green jungle, there lived a group of 5 frogs. These frogs were adventurous and loved exploring new places. One sunny morning, they decided to set out on a journey to find a hidden pond, rumored to have the freshest, clearest water in the entire forest. As they hopped along the winding forest paths, they felt the warm sun on their backs and the cool breeze against their skin. The journey was filled with excitement, laughter, and playful races. Little did they know that this adventure would turn into the biggest challenge of their lives. After traveling for hours, they reached a dense part of the jungle where the ground was uneven and the paths were covered with fallen leaves. As they jumped forward, 3 of the 5 frogs suddenly fell into a deep pit. The other 2 frogs, who had narrowly escaped the fall, rushed to the edge and looked down. The pit was dark, deep, and steep. It seemed impossible to climb out. Chapter 2. The Struggle to Escape. Inside the pit, the 3 frogs panicked. They jumped with all their might, trying to grab onto something, but the walls were too slippery. The dirt crumbled beneath their feet, making it even harder to gain a grip. Seeing their struggle, the 2 frogs, standing at the top, began shouting down to them. "This pit is too deep. You'll never make it out. Stop wasting your energy." Hearing this, one of the frogs inside the pit stopped. His body was already tired, and now his mind was giving up too. He sighed, sat in a corner, and said, "Maybe they're right. This is too hard. We'll never get out of here." He stopped trying. This is where most people fail in life. They listen to negativity, they allow doubt to enter their minds, and they give up before they even see results. Chapter 3. The Power of Words. But the other 2 frogs weren't ready to quit. They kept jumping again and again, hoping that just one more jump would take them higher. But the frogs above continued. "Why are you trying so hard? There's no point. Just accept your fate and sit down." Hearing this over and over, the second frog felt his motivation slipping away. He had started with strong determination, but now doubt had crept into his heart. He looked at the first frog, who had already given up, and thought, "Maybe he's right. Maybe I should stop too." And so, he too stopped trying? Does this sound familiar? In life, how often do people stop chasing their dreams just because someone else tells them it's impossible? The weight of negativity pulls them down, and they settle for a life they never wanted. But here's where the story takes a turn. Chapter 4. The Deaf Frog's Determination. One frog still remained. He kept jumping. He didn't care how many times he failed. He didn't care how tired he was. He just kept going. The 2 frogs above got frustrated. "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you listening? We said stop." But the little frog didn't listen. Because he couldn't. You see, this frog was deaf. He saw the frogs above waving their arms and shouting, but he didn't hear their words. He thought they were cheering for him. He believed they were encouraging him to keep going, and so instead of feeling discouraged, he felt even more determined. With every jump, he pushed himself harder. His legs ached, his body felt heavy, but he refused to stop. He had no idea that the others had given up. He had no idea that he was supposed to fail. So, he didn't. After what felt like an eternity, he finally jumped high enough to grab onto the edge of the pit. With one last, powerful push, he pulled himself up and collapsed onto the ground. Free, at last. Chapter 5. The Moment of Realization. The other frogs were shocked. "How did he do that?" they whispered. They couldn't believe their eyes. They had told him it was impossible. They had told him to stop. Yet, he had succeeded. One of the frogs finally asked, "How did you not give up?" That's when they realized he couldn't hear them. He never heard the discouragement, the negativity, or the doubts. He only saw their movements and believed they were cheering for him. Chapter 6. Lessons for Life. This little frog taught everyone an important lesson that day. 1. Be deaf to negativity. There will always be people who doubt you, discourage you, and try to bring you down. The key to success is not listening to them. Instead, believe in yourself and keep pushing forward. 2. Don't give up too soon. Most people quit when things get tough. But what if success is just one more try away? Keep going. The ones who make it in life aren't the smartest or the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to quit. 3. Surround yourself with the right people. If you constantly listen to negative voices, they'll shape your thoughts. But if you surround yourself with people who believe in you, you'll start believing in yourself too. Chapter 7. The Power of Persistence. The deaf frog didn't know he was supposed to fail, so he didn't. Imagine if we all lived like that. Imagine if we ignored every person who said, "You can't do it." What could you achieve? Think about your own dreams. Have you ever stopped trying because someone told you it was impossible? What if they were wrong? Success belongs to those who try one more time, who believe when no one else does, and who refuse to let doubt take over. So be like the deaf frog. Ignore the noise, keep jumping, and never ever give up. Final words. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs motivation today. And if you love stories that push you towards success, subscribe to our channel, G4 Creation, for more powerful lessons.